Dear Philip, it's a pleasure to have you with us at GLO, and congratulations on publication of your second edition of the loyalty programs. Your first edition became a manual for anybody interested in loyalty, rewards, and customer experience. And we're really looking forward to hear your insights and details about your second edition.
I'm Philip Shelper, the CEO of Loyalty&Reward Co. We're based in New York, London, Sydney, and Melbourne, and we design the world's best loyalty programs for the world's best brands.
Thank you so much. Your company is very well known, and you became one of the key pillars on the academic research about the loyalty programs, about the KPIs, and among our members at the Global Loyalty Organization, we know that the heads of loyalty and the teams look at your books as the manuals for structuring and for analyzing their programs. How is the second edition different from your first edition, and what new insights you have came up with?
We had always planned to write a second edition. So when we wrote the first edition, we said every 2 years, let's write another edition and always keep it fresh. So as we had progressed post the launch of the first edition, we were collecting lots of additional materials, case studies, academic research, new loyalty psychology studies. So we had a lot of material to put into the second edition. But when we came to start writing it, we thought, you know what, we're really busy as an organization. So let's just do a small amount of changes. We'll update some of the case studies. We'll put in a little bit of additional content, but let's get it launched just so that we can say we've launched a second edition. But we got a bit carried away. We ended up spending about 10 months on writing it. And so the new edition has about 25% more content. It's got two new chapters in it. We completely rewrote 2 chapters. So there's a lot more there to be gained. We also did a complete refresh of all of the case studies. So there's now 170 case studies in there as well.
Your first edition was written during the COVID. And the second edition, as you mentioned, you started to write in the beginning of 2023. Was there anything in the last year and a half that significantly changed your views or your approach to analyzing loyalty or thinking about loyalty?
Yeah, there was 2 things. The first one was we realized during COVID and the more recent economic downturn how important loyalty programs are for the survival of some companies. If you think about the US airlines, for instance, many of them only survived because they could draw on the enormous resources of their loyalty programs. And supermarkets are having a massive upswing at the moment, which also includes a really big flight for customers to their loyalty programs as well. So the programs support the businesses, but also the programs tend to fluctuate based on what the economic conditions are at the time. And we were absolutely fascinated by this phenomenon of how what was happening within the world was having such a big impact on how loyalty programs were performing. The other thing that really annoys us, I guess, is what we call marketing assault. And that is where companies get their customers to sign up to a loyalty program purely as a way to build out a marketing database, and then they just smash them with emails. I'll give you a really great example. I just did a post on LinkedIn today where a supermarket program that I belong to has sent me 13 emails in 4 days, right? That's crazy. I don't want to hear from them that often. And the offers that they're putting forward, a lot of them just aren't relevant to me at all. And this, so we did a big review of the loyalty marketing chapter within the book with an additional focus on lifecycle strategies and personalization of content as a way to try to explain to companies how they should be doing marketing and not just hitting the base every time they need a sugar hit of additional revenue.
In your second edition, you disclosed Loyalty and Rewards Essential 8 Principles, which was previously a proprietary IP of your company and was quite valuable. What did motivate you to release it to the market? And can you talk a little bit more in detail about it?
Yeah, it's a really good question. We actually wrote a chapter with the Essential 8 Principles for the first edition of the book, and then my team advised me not to publish it because there is so much IP involved in that. we developed the 8 essential principles through a combination of an extensive study of academic research. So what is it within academic research that that indicates the principles that make a loyalty program successful? A lot of loyalty psychology exploration as well, and of course joining hundreds of loyalty programs and exploring for ourselves all of the principles that we feel are essential and continue to be replicated in best practice loyalty programs. We've also, now that we've built that out and we've been using that for quite a few years, whenever we're running a health check review of an existing loyalty program, we'll use that as a framework in order to explore how a program might be performing as well. So it's a very, very useful tool. Why did we include it in the 2nd edition? It's a really good question. It's probably a really, really dumb idea. We probably shouldn't be sharing that type of information, to be honest with you. But I think we want the book to be something that can be used by loyalty practitioners all around the world. And we feel that one of the big challenges that in the world that has been for loyalty practitioners is just not access to enough good quality information that they can use in order to be better at what they do. So I like the idea that people can use the Essential 8 principles in order to think more constructively about what makes for a good loyalty program and have a framework that they can use in order to influence their thinking there. So it's out there now, and I hope people have the opportunity to make good use of it.
Can't agree more with you at GLO that while we are bombarded with a lot of marketing and CX information, actually the quality insights on loyalty and rewards, they're very few. And I can assure you that we heard from our global loyalty organization members that your book is on the table of a lot of the heads of loyalty. So thank you so much for publishing a 2nd edition. You mentioned that you've added 2 chapters and included a lot of the case studies. Were there any that really stand out to you and that you think is worth mentioning for people to take a closer look?
Yeah, so there's 2 case studies that I really love in the book. Both of them are examples from Australia, although we do look globally in terms of everything that we include in the book. The first one is Rip Curl, Club Rip Curl, which launched late last year. It's a fantastic program. So members can join and they can spend at Rip Curl and earn points, which they can redeem on future transactions. So a very straightforward points-based program, but it has this incredibly unique, beautiful feature. Rip Curl has a watch, which is a GPS linked watch. And so when you go surfing, it actually counts the number of waves that you surf. And Rip Curl introduced a genius element within the program, which is that members can earn points for surfing waves. And then they can also redeem their points for a donation to the local surf lifesaving club. And I think it's just so clever because it's quintessentially Rip Curl. It stands for everything that their brand stands for, and it's something that no other brand would possibly be able to replicate. So it's what we call an X factor in loyalty programs, and we wish that more loyalty programs out there had X factors like that make them really sing and pop and make people want to talk about them. The other one is a program that we designed with one of our clients, Loyalty&Reward Co. They've got 210 bars and pubs across Australia. And we worked with them to design an app-based program called The Pass. So members can download The Pass, they can register a debit or credit card. And when they go to any Loyalty&Reward Co venue, they can sit at a table and scan a QR code that opens up the app. They can order food and drink to be delivered to their table and pay through the app. And when they do that, they earn points, which they can redeem for vouchers to be spent on future transactions. But also they can buy and redeem gift cards within the app. And they can nominate their local community sports club to be involved in the program so that when they spend, a percentage of what they spend gets donated to them as a rebate every 3 months. So once again, a really nice X factor element within the program that ties the bar or the pub to the local community.